Welcome to the Thrive with OMU Podcast, where each week I'll chat with an amazing entrepreneur on their growth journey. They'll be sharing this with us to help and encourage us to take that bold step. Hello guys, it's me here once again, and I have with me dear Samantha. Samantha, thank you very much for joining us on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to chat with you today.
Same here. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's been such a beautiful, exciting day.
I can tell you look it. So, who is Samantha?
Oh, I love it. Let's dive straight in. So, Samantha, I'm the founder of the Maniscripting Journal, but more so outside of that, I know that my mission in this lifetime is to help encourage women and others and show them what's possible for their lives, to be honest. Like, I know that I'm a pillar in my community, in such a big community, not just in person, but on social media worldwide. And it's been such a really fun journey to date, including all the struggles, all the obstacles and everything that I've kind of experienced in my life to get me to where I am today, and to be able to show others that no matter where you are in your life, it's possible to have success. And it's honestly possible to have truly anything that you desire.
Awesome. Usually I'll ask the challenges, we'll get there. But first of all, I want to know where you're at today. So where are you at today?
Where am I at today, as in, like, where do I live? Or
no, at what point, you said you went through all the challenges to get to the point where you are. So what point are you today?
Today, I am, through all of that, I'm the founder of the Maniscripting Journal. So I have been an entrepreneur for over 12 years now, actually right out of college. I was supposed to go to med school and decided right as I was graduating that just wasn't the path for me. I actually at that point didn't know what I was going to do with my life, but I just knew that wasn't what I was meant to do. And from there, I just dove into entrepreneurship. And back then, entrepreneurship wasn't cool. It was actually, it wasn't as popular as what it is today to be cool and entrepreneur. It was like kind of like an entrepreneur, like, oh, you're a loser. Like, what are you doing with your life? But I dove straight in and just started leaning into my strengths. I'm very tall, so I leaned into modeling and acting. From there, I created a video production and marketing company. And then as social media kind of kicked up and influencers became a thing, I stepped into that world of being a fitness influencer. And from there, people asked me how I did that. So from there, I kind of pivoted and followed my intuition, like, okay, people are asking me how I did this. Well, I can teach them how I did it, which then led into being a social media coach, to then online business coach. And then a couple years ago, when COVID hit our world, I started just teaching people what to do to stay positive. And I started sharing that online, and it was something that I thought everybody did. Like, I've been meditating, journaling, goal setting, all that for years. And I thought it was something that just like everybody did. But as I started sharing my processes on social media, I quickly learned and was getting feedback like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. This is working for me. Tell me more. How do I get your system or your method? And this was just me, just sharing on Instagram stories and stuff. And from there, I got that download like, okay, you need to create a product out of this. This is a book. This is a journal. And from there, I had no idea how to do any of this. And I just went for it. And here I am today, almost 3 years later, with a thriving e-commerce business, helping women go through their challenges and show them the way, give them the method to change their lives ultimately, because that's really what this does. And I know that seems very big and powerful sounding and almost like gimmicky, but truly it's the book that I've created, that journal that I've created really does, if you just go through it step by step by step, you'll undoubtedly change your life because you're putting effort and attention to those things that no longer serve you, getting rid of those things, setting your eyes on the goals and things that you want to not only manifest, but just call into your life. So when you put your attention on those things, your life will change undoubtedly.
I agree with you. It is very possible. My life changed when I became more intentional and become more positive. And it's easy for you to think you're not negative.
Yeah.
But when you honestly dig deep, you might sound positive, but within you, you're actually negative.
Yeah.
So we do those things without knowing. So did you just set out on this journey, or, like I always say to people that, especially with entrepreneurs who have come into their own and kind of know themselves and are successful, when they're talking about their work with so much excitement and enthusiasm, it sounds like it's so easy and they were just born to do it, and it's often misunderstood because anyone watching just feels like, oh, Samantha, she has it all figured out. Left school, started a business, did this and did that. And we never sit down to think that, oh, there must have been some sleepless nights, there must have been some pain, there must have been some inconveniences. And, in this age of social media, we only see the glees and the glamour.
Yes.
We don't see what goes on behind. So are you one of those who, like they say on social media, I woke up like this?
No, definitely not. I used to be. I used to be that way, right? We only want to share the good stuff. But as I started even just sharing my own process, everything, I kind of like don't share it all, but I share it all. And it's funny that you say that about entrepreneurs, about, oh, people just think, and I get that all the time myself, is, oh my gosh, it must have been so easy for you. Like everything just keeps happening for you. You make it look so easy. I could never do what you did because it's just not possible for me. And for me, talk about the sleepless nights, the tears, the frustration, the struggle, the brokenness, like financially. Oh my gosh. Like
I can't imagine you in tears, and I can't imagine you broke financially. No.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. And this is like the part of entrepreneurship where it's like, and your purpose, right? Because I think what got me through all of that, it's crazy to think about. And it leaves me speechless, just me thinking about the things that I've been through, just really quickly, just memories going through my head, right, as we speak about this. But what got me through is the uttermost belief in myself. Even when everyone else doubted me, even when there were times when there are things that came up, whether I didn't have the money to, whether it's starting a business or launching the next business or even just pay rent, right? Because I took funds to put into my business or something like that. But the uttermost belief in myself is what got me through those low times. And knowing that I just couldn't give up, because at the same time, I never gave myself another option. I didn't have, a lot of people go through life like with their backup plan. Well, if this doesn't work, I'll just go back and do this. But for me, when I said no to med school, that was the initial first fire lit under my butt, because at that point, my parents, were very disappointed. This wasn't oh, Sam's not going to med school. That's okay. No problem. No, it was the complete opposite. It was me going against the grain, me disappointing a lot of people, me disappointing myself, right? Because here I am, spent many years studying towards something. And then all of a sudden, just at that age too, at 2021, I just felt like, what's wrong with me? Like I screwed up. Like, what am I going to do? I was very confused, but looking back, I didn't know that was my gut intuition that I followed of not going to go do that thing. Right. And then from there, as I slowly kind of started going with my intuition, and I went with this, I have nothing to lose attitude. Right. Because I had that attitude. And then also I had the ego side of, I'm going to prove everybody wrong. I'm going to prove everybody wrong that I didn't need to go to med school, that I did not make a stupid decision by not doing that. Right. So from a very young age, I learned this tough lesson. And then from there, that really drove me, because at the same time, when I went down this road of entrepreneurship, I had one job in college, one job where I was employed by somebody, and that was at a school bookstore. And the school bookstore, the boss was a terrible man. He was awful. And all the employees were very scared of him. And this was like, looking back now, it seems very silly, but there was one weekend where I wanted to take that weekend off. Like I was put on the schedule to work, and I wanted to take it off to go have fun with my friends. And I was going to get someone else to cover for me. And the boss was like, no, you need to work. I don't care that you can have someone else cover you. You need to work. And at that point in time, I'll never forget it. That feeling of, oh, like this is what like corporate, this is what a job is like, to be constantly told what you can and cannot do. Absolutely not. Right. So from that moment, that was also the fire under me, is like, okay, I have to figure it out, because I never, ever want to be put in a position where I have to take a job and be told what to do, when I can vacation, when I can take days off, that kind of a thing. So I had this drive for a really long, for like my ultimate career. But as far as getting over just the obstacles and the struggles and all of that, oh my gosh, there are so many times and days that I just wanted to quit and just wanted to give up and wanted to throw in it. There were times where I was like, screw it, I'm just going to go get a job. But there was always something that was just like, no, there's this little voice. It's like, no, keep going. No, keep going. No, keep going. And I just kept going. And I haven't given up. And I'm not sitting here saying I've got it figured out. There are struggles happening right now, today, this morning, before this conversation, where I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, how are we going to get out of this? But at the end of the day, I now know my purpose and the container that I hold for so many people, that if I didn't continue going, so many lives would be affected. And that's what drives me every single day to keep going through it.
Wow. But at that young age, taking that bold decision not to go to medical school and, to dive into entrepreneurship was really, really bold. What comes to mind as one of the major struggles or setbacks you've been through on this journey?
One of the biggest struggles and setbacks that I've been on, in the moment, most of these struggles, they seem so big. But every single struggle that I've had, and I'm generalizing it because the lesson is in the aftermath of it, is that every single struggle that I've came across, whether it is financial, like I don't have the money to do something, or whether it's somebody letting me down, or somebody causing pain to me, or something like that, the biggest struggle, it's the afterwards of, wow, recognizing, wow, I had to go through that because I had to learn the lesson of that struggle. So for example, when I first started the Maniscripting Journal, it takes a lot of money to start an e-commerce brand. Like if you are manufacturing your own products, you're making custom items, that kind of thing, it takes a lot of money. So I had to come up with a lot of money to do that. And when we got our product, well, first of all, it was delayed by 2 months by arriving. So that really set me back financially. But some of even the journals that came in, we had a lot of damage, or there was misprints, there was little things like that where you just felt like, oh my gosh, I just spent so much money on this. Half of the product isn't even viable, half like it's late, we did pre-orders, like our customers are getting mad at us. Like it was just, to kick off a company in this state, like it was like so crazy and overwhelming. And at that point I was like, I could have easily just thrown in the towel, like, no, I tried it. This is too much for me. I can't handle with people being mad at me, people being upset, all of these things. But at the same time, I learned so many lessons at once as far as the financial stuff, handling community and customer service at that intense of a level, product manufacturing, all those things, where I took all that with that lesson right off the bat to then, 6 months later, when we do a reorder, I now know how to handle every single aspect. Now we don't do pre-orders anymore because we never want to be put in a situation where so many people are waiting for a product and it doesn't come on time, because we know the aftermath of how that looks. Another thing is being extra diligent with our manufacturers and talking to them, asking for pictures, asking for samples, all these little things that I never did in the first run.
Following up every step of the way.
Yeah. So something that was such a huge struggle, it almost like broke me from even starting the company right off the bat, right? But instead, now looking back at it, I'm like, wow, I learned so many lessons from that struggle or obstacle that now makes me a better founder, makes me a better entrepreneur, makes me a better teacher, makes me a better support system. So I almost, even though it sucks in the moment and it is so stressful, and those are the nights that I just like, I don't sleep, I'm crying, I'm, arguing with my fiance, and he's just like trying to support me, like, no, keep going. And I'm just like, screw this, let's just not do it anymore. Like it's all of those nights and those days and those weeks that sometimes last for a really long time. But hindsight, I know these things are happening. The one thing that I always keep in mind, it's all happening for me and not to me, because as the company is now grown exponentially, right? It's scaled so quickly, so fast. I now know how to handle certain situations. Like I've already been taught the mini lesson to like, okay, now the universe is like, all right, well, you can get through that. Perfect. You're able to hold more space for these bigger obstacles that potentially will come, because it's forcing me to grow. And at the end of the day, if you want to be successful in life, you have to grow, you have to evolve, you have to learn. Who you are today is not going to get you to that person that you want to be, right? So take it all in.
One thing I take away from everything you've said is that you are intentionally positive. I mean, even I can tell that even when there's a lot of stress and it doesn't look so good, you intentionally look for a positive side, and that's very commendable.
Yeah, thank you. And it's hard, and it's not always in the moment. Like I don't just sit there with something bad happening and I'm like, let's look at the bright side of things. No, it's usually, in the next few hours or the next day or the next week where you look back and I'm like, okay. And that's also the importance of just reflecting on everything that happens, right? Like when you're in it, be in it. Don't avoid it. Don't act like things are good when they actually are terrible, right? Yeah. It's like the reflection is really important too.
Yeah. So tell me about your journal. Is it something that we need to buy, like the hard copy, or is it something one can use online?
Yes, we actually have both. We have the physical journal, and it's a 90-day journal. And I love having a physical journal because it really forces you to sit.
I love it. Even with my books. So I use my Kindle.
Me too. Yeah.
And I use, when there's a new book and I can't wait for it to be sent to me and I want to read it immediately, I'll download it on my Kindle, but I'll always buy a hard copy. I like to hold my books.
Yes, I'm the same way. And even with a journal or anything like that, right? Because with anything digital these days, right? Whether it's on your phone, your iPad, your computer, there's so much distraction with text messages and social media and emails, and it's really easy to be distracted. So even though we just released a digital option of the journal, which you can purchase and download, so you can use it on your iPad and write on it and stuff like that on your computer, but we do have the physical one. It's a 90-day journal. And the beauty of this journal is, and how we stand out, or it's different from others, is the first part of the journal is actually a self-discovery workbook where you go through a series of questions where you get super clear on who it is that you are, what is it that you want, what is it that you don't want. And that part is super important, because I think a lot of people, you'll make the vision boards, you'll write down your goals, and you'll do all that. But a lot of them, it's not that they're not the right goals for you, but a lot of them, it's just kind of like, oh, well, I think that's a good idea. Like, oh, I think I want to make $10,000 a month, So the process that you kick off with in the journal is like you get super clear on that. And then every single day you have a journal entry, and how it's set up is you're focused on, you start off with gratitude, what you're open to receiving, your mantra. And then my favorite part of it all is you write down 3 action steps that you're going to take that day towards your goals, that goal that you want to achieve. Because at the end of the day, we can all wish for everything. We can make the vision board, plaster it on our wall. We can write down in our journal, we want X, Y, and Z. But if you're not taking action towards that thing, and this is where manifestation gets a bad rap, because people just think, oh, I can just say it out loud and it's gonna happen. And that's not how it works at all, right? Like, we have to take that action every single day. And if you're at a place where you are just not liking things in your life, whether it's you don't like a lot of your life or just little parts of it, if that's not top of mind for you to change and take action on changing that every single day, then nothing will ever change. So this journal really, and the one thing we get feedback on all the time is the mindfulness of it, of keeping your goals alive and at the forefront of starting your day every single day. Because when you first wake up and start thinking about it, that's going to inspire you to take that action of that thing. Whether it's writing that email, making that phone call to somebody, making that Instagram post, or starting that business, whatever that is for you, it makes it a really powerful tool to help you not only change your life, but accomplish your goals.
Absolutely. Done. Well done. Thank you so much. I can't wait to lay my hands on the journal, Samantha. And I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation with you. And guys, I'm going to make sure I put the link for the purchase of the journal underneath this post. Make sure you grab one. I'm certainly going to grab one. Thank you so much, Samantha.
Thank you. And I would love to give your listeners a discount code for the journal if you'd like. You can give them 15% off. Select a code. What would you want the code to be?
Thrive with OMU is too long, so maybe OMU.
Perfect. If you use OMU at checkout with the link provided in the show notes, you'll get 15% off your journal. Yeah.
Awesome. Guys, I'm excited.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Samantha. It's been such a pleasure listening to you or chatting with you today.
Thank you so much, OMU. Such a pleasure. Have a great day.
Okay, then. Hey, guys, make sure you grab a copy. Remember, the discount code is OMU. I'm out.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of Thrive with OMU Podcast. This is your host, OMU Obilo.